Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Now, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, here we are. We're back for another week. Happy Monday. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. BJ Rains along with you. John Mallory, KTIK. We got the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios on the road today as I am in St. Louis for the bye week visiting some family. Here's that famous Jack Buck book, Johnny. Here it is right here in the background of my
That's a winner. I don't know
is.
if people know this, but Jack Buck, maybe the greatest baseball broadcaster of all time, his autobiography was co-written by BJ's dad, Rob Rains.
And
so,
remember when we tried to put we had Joe Buck on our show at a previous stop together, and you tried to put him on the spot, and you brought up that maybe Joe, since Jack was, book was written by my dad, maybe I should write Joe's book. And he basically said he already had one in the works with somebody else, and I missed out. But
that's a great book, man.
Yeah. One of 39 books my dad's written, by the way.
Impressive.
So I'm hoping to get to number one at some point. Maybe I can write the John Mallory story at some point.
If you do that, that means I'm probably in prison.
I was going to say we'll have to get the lawyers involved to see what we can and can't print. But we're on the road visiting some family in St. Louis today, but still working. We'll have shows all week. Excited about this week, Johnny. We got plenty of football to discuss, but we're actually going to take a look at some of the other sports going on at Boise State this week as well. So every day we'll have a different coach from one of the non-football sports to check up with them. Coming up here at about 9:30, we're going to check in with Gordy Presnell, the women's basketball coach. They had a rough year last year, 8-21. They're trying to rebound, but they feel really good about the group they've got. So we'll check in on the women's basketball team with Gordy Presnell at 9:30. And then we've got volleyball, soccer, women's golf, and then Friday we'll wrap it up with Coach Leon Rice and talk some men's basketball as well. But plenty of football talk as well. And again, appreciate you for watching. Appreciate you for subscribing on YouTube to both the KTIK channel and the BNN channel. They put a daily video segment up as well on the KTIK channel. So make sure you check them out on YouTube as well and click that subscribe button. Johnny, 40-20 win over Fresno State. Very, competitive game, tie game early in the third quarter. Boise State pulls away. Your thoughts on Boise State improving to 4-2?
Yeah, I thought it was impressive. I mean, give Fresno a lot of credit, man. I didn't think they would play that well. Like Kirby Moore had a nice game plan. I know they had a couple of, you could say, lucky third down pickups, the big pass play on the rollout to the right, one that sticks out. But, Jeff Tedford's a good coach. He runs a good program. They still have a lot of other good players on that team. Fresno does, but obviously without Jake Haener, he's special. They're going to continue to struggle, and Boise State just kind of ran the course, just kind of stayed with it, did what they do, and just let the game play all 60 minutes. And at the end of the game, you saw Boise State obviously there beginning in midway through the third quarter start to pull away. And when they do, when they get that 300-headed monster rushing, they're really tough to stop. Halani now has over 600 scrimmage yards on the year, leads the team with 6 total touchdowns. He's having a terrific season. I don't see that stopping with Mountain West play coming. Ashton Genty, find me a better change of pace back in the Mountain West right now. Not sure you can. And he's just a true freshman. Taylor Green, I love the fact that they don't play this week, and he can continue to grow and get better every day under the tutelage of Dirk Cutter. Don't have to worry about game prep this week. It's almost like an extra week of training camp, and that's going to be, I think, pivotal for Taylor Green. And then obviously the defense, BJ, they just continue to play really, really well, certainly against Mountain West play. I think you have DJ Schramm, JL Skinner, Zeke Noah, and George Tarlis all playing at a first, second team Mountain West all-conference caliber level. Jonah Dalmas looks like the best kicker still in the conference. So I think they're moving forward well. Use this bye week, and hard to believe. What are we on? Are we halfway through the home season?
Halfway through the season in general.
Halfway through the season,
12 games. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Quick. It's going to be an exciting second half, I think, for Bronco Nation, though.
I think they're hoping they still have 8 games left, though, with a conference championship game and a bowl game as well. And Bronco Nation, Johnny, the comments are scrolling in here, and would you believe that most of them are negative? They're not like in the red zone offense, settling for 4 field goals. What do you make of that?
Yeah, and they got to get better in the red zone. I think. Maybe it's a strategy. Maybe they're not calling the right plays. Maybe for whatever reason. Look, here's the thing about the red zone. 90% of your playbook isn't usable once you get in the red zone. That's not easy to score down there. The defense tightens up too. And, you got 3 downs, you settle for a field goal. And in Boise State's case, they're not going to press the issue all that often because I think they have an automatic 3. And, you have to factor in the way this defense plays. Maybe you're a little less aggressive knowing the defense is in your back pocket. And if you can get 3 points on 4 different occasions or 2 different occasions, you trust your defense to get a stop the next way. So, yeah, they need to get better in the red zone, but I'm not going to look at that game as a disappointing loss, or a disappointing win, because they were, kicking field goals. It's like kissing your sister, I say. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it doesn't get you very far rather than getting touchdowns. But I think that will change, and I look forward to seeing what they do. If that's going to be the problem and that's going to ruin this season, then that's going to be an issue moving forward, because last year they weren't very good in the red zone either, and they got rid of the guy who they thought was the reason.
What'd you make, Johnny, of just the second game now and the first full game, really, to see this kind of new look offense? Taylor Green played the entire game. You mentioned back-to-back 300-yard rushing games. As odd as it is, it was exactly 316 yards in 2 straight games. Just an oddity there. But for the first time in program history, they get 2 guys over 100 yards. It was Green and Helani 2 weeks ago. The other night, it was Helani with 157, Genty with 109. Again, first time in program history. They've had back-to-back games with 2 different guys rushing for 100 yards. Seems like they're really embracing this thing. And, they still had 18 pass attempts, so it's not like they were running the ball on every play. But what did you make of, another look at this kind of new look offense? And Helani and Genty proven to be the nice tandem here, because, Green only had 22 rushing yards, but you didn't really need him. And I think him, even though he didn't rush as much, he still opened up some of the other things for the other guys with some of the read option stuff. But your thoughts on the rushing game?
I thought Fresno, first of all, didn't. It's early for me, BJ. Fresno, first of all, did a good job against Taylor Green. I think they went in there with a game plan thinking we are not going to let this freakazoid quarterback rush for 150 yards on us and do what he did the last week. No way, not on our watch. And I went back and watched the TV copy, and a lot of those plays, Taylor Green couldn't quite get to the outside. And those were plays where he could have given to the back on some of the mesh there, and maybe there would have been a little more yards. But again, credit Fresno for doing a pretty good job there. Taylor Green's going to have monster rushing games, and then I guess he'll have games like that. But when the other 2 guys behind him are both eclipsing 100 yards rushing, I don't think it matters, right? And I thought Taylor Green picked up some key passes. I thought Taylor Green made some pretty good reads going back watching the TV copy. I would say that he improved his passing game. His release even looks a little bit better now, JP, BJ. I was impressed there with Taylor Green, and I look forward again. I think the bye week is huge, crucial for Taylor Green.
Got Oh, where'd it go here? The comments are rolling in so fast I missed it here. Somebody was asking if it's sustainable. Here it is. Cody says, I believe we can continue to rush 70% to 30% passing. The O-line strength seems to be run blocking. What do you think if it stays on a 70-30 kind of run to pass?
I think it depends on the opponent, depends on the defense. It depends on the score of the game. It depends how much time is left on the clock, right? I just think it's situational football. And you have to be a chameleon in college football right now and know the situation and call what's called for. But look, all things even, yeah, I agree. I think probably 70-30. Boise State's going to be one of those teams where there are probably not a lot of passes on first down and not a lot of passes on a second down, especially if first down works well. And if you look at the team, look at the stats, I think it's Taylon Green, Helani and Ashton Genty are all rushing for over 5 yards per carry this season. So it's really working. And that's the beautiful thing, because the defense is going to be obviously getting ready for stopping the run. And if you can surprise with a pass here or there, all of a sudden you kind of manipulate the defense in a sense where Dirk's going to know essentially what coverage he's going to get. So he's going to be able to call plays with a pretty good certainty that he's going to know what look the defense is giving him. And then that just makes it more advantageous for Boise State moving forward. I think that's going to be a key factor there. Maybe there's going to be games where they throw a little bit more, but I don't think there's going to be a game where they throw more than they run. I mean, unless they're getting blown out second half, they have to throw every play type of thing. And we'll see if that situation presents itself. I don't think it will against Air Force. I think this is going to be a slow. I mean, how quick is the Air Force game going to get over?
Yeah, you're going to be it's a 5:00 game. It'll be off by, done by 6:37. You're going to be you and Prater will be able to hit up the local establishment Saturday night pretty early. Watch the late night football games. It's going to be a quick one. Jordan says Dayton Robinson said yesterday Dan Wetzel's small sample size Heisman for the week was the Boise State O-line. Props to the two big dudes up front. What do you make? Tim Keene's been under a lot of fire as well. The offensive line coach, they've struggled at times this year, but it does seem like the run blocking is a strength of this O-line, and they're kind of playing to their strengths a little bit here.
Yeah, and they're developing some continuity too, even though it might not be the guys that the media thought were going to be out there, right, BJ? What we're seeing, though, is the guys that they are running with are starting to develop a little bit of chemistry, rapport with each other, because it is the same unit out there. I've heard a lot talking with coaches and players about O-line play, and it really helps when you have the same 5 unit out there. You get to feed off each other. I think probably being in that pit, I've obviously never been in there. It's probably better when you have the guys are there and you're not teaching people on the fly or whatnot. So the way they've been able to continuously start these same guys the last couple of weeks. Do you remember the last week where they had a different lineup at the offensive line, BJ?
I don't.
Was it the last 2 or 3 weeks? It's been the same 5 out there. Farah, obviously the new center, and it looks like he's getting the job done. And
I mean, at UTEP, they had to start Roger Carrion, the true freshman. So I think it's just been the last 2 home games. It's been the same. Yeah, which is good for them. And they obviously needed that. They struggled. The offensive line did against UTEP. You have a mobile quarterback too. Yeah, that's cool for Wetzel to give a lot of credit to Boise State's offensive line, because not just with Tim Keene, but the last regime, Brad Biddell, like people have just crushed the offensive line in this town for 4 or 5 years now. So for them to get better, maybe they can be second in the league and rushing behind Air Force. Who knows? Maybe they can challenge Air Force a little bit there if they keep getting 300 yards on the ground every game, as crazy as that would be. Offensive line deserves a lot of credit. If I'm Tim Keene, my chest is held up pretty high right now. I'm pumping out. I'm walking around feeling good about my unit and just got to get better. Use the bye week to heal up and get ready for Air Force, which is, I think, one of the smaller units in the league. I'll have to go back and check some numbers. I know Air Force always had issues finding. There's not a lot of 322-pound dudes who want to go to the Air Force Academy, right? Well, they can't. They got to get all the physical requirements to be in the Air Force. I mean, you got to. Yeah. There's the 2-mile time and all that. I mean, they're not getting the.
It's tough to find some of those big guys up front. So maybe this will help Boise State this next week as well.
Hey, if you're looking for a new career change, check out Transportation Compliance Service. How about becoming a truck driver? If you want to drive, the big rig you see on the screen or even the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, Transportation Compliance Service can help you every step of the way with the permits and things you need. It's a booming industry right now with the pandemic, so you can get more information at transcomservice.com. The Blue and Orange Store, how about this? $40 online gets you free shipping on any order over $40. So check them out, theblueandorangestore.com. If you're in the Boise area, they've got the store there at the Boise Town Square Mall, an entire store at the mall with nothing but Boise State gear. It's a great spot. Check it out at theblueandorangestore.com. Ridley's Family Markets as well, shopridleys.com. They got 13 Idaho locations. I know Johnny frequents that Cuno location often. You can check them out there at shopridleys.com, and they have all the different information in terms of the home delivery, the at-home shopping, the Skip app, all that cool stuff. So make sure you check them out at Ridley's Family Markets. Johnny, with the comments are streaming in here today, man. We got a record number of comments. Somebody is asking about the wide receivers. Nate Staley says really need to look into the transfer portal this year for some big productive receivers. The lack of, I guess, quote unquote, lack of production from receivers, is that on the receivers? Is that on the offense? Is that on the quarterbacks? Your leading receiver had 3 catches for 39 yards. Latrell Caples. Riley Smith had 2 catches for 44 yards. Steph Cobb's 2 for 30. And your 1 touchdown pass, one was 9 yards to Bowens, one was 5 yards to Halani. What do you make of the receivers? I don't put it all on them.
No, I mean, this is a running attack. Period. That's the strength of this offense. I think, can you get better? Do you look in the portal? Absolutely. That comment is correct, I think. I think you look at the portal for every single position now. You're constantly trying to get better, and there's more ways to get better now than just recruiting a high school kid or maybe even looking down to the junior college level. You get tons of transfers in the transfer portal as well. I know Latrell Caples, 18 catches, leads this team after, 6 games? I think what Static's got 17. Billy
in a 12 game regular season, your leading receivers on pace for 36 catches.
Crazy. And Riley Smith's got 11. Your top tight end. So I would say, I think 40 catches probably leads this team in receiving this year, which is real hard. Boise State's had teams where the 4th or 5th guy was having 40 catch seasons.
And they could still conceivably win like 9-10 games this year and have a leading receiver with 40 catches.
Win a league championship. I don't know if I put it on the receiver yet or just what the offense is going to be. Up until this point, when the last quarterback was here, they weren't completing a lot of passes to the receivers then either. Maybe it's just scheming them open, finding more stuff. They do take shots deep. Taylon's going to get better at that. Yeah. And they have a pretty good percentage, I think, this season of connecting on deep shots. And that might be what this offense is. Pound, beat them over the top on the play action.
Elvis here is mentioning some of the drops, too. There were some drops, he said.
Always are, too. So, I don't know, man. Maybe they need to overhaul the receiving corps. Maybe they don't. We'll see. Who do they lose this year from those receivers, not counting
Davis, Cutter?
That's it, right? Because they still have, I think most of those guys still have their COVID year, too. I think they were on the 2020 team.
Yeah.
All those guys.
I think Steph Cobb's probably envisioned having a year where he wasn't back this year.
But he's back.
Yeah.
He's back.
Hey, do you want to talk about the defense a little bit, though, Johnny, as well? Cody had a question here, a comment. Zeke Noah, the best game of his career. Great effort for him. And, Zeke Noah was a guy all offseason, Johnny, that took some shrapnel, from shows like yours and shows like mine and top 25 lists and all that. He really struggled last year. He seemed a little bigger. He seemed a little a step slow. And I don't think he was fully recovered last year from some of the injuries he was dealing with. I think he played banged up and a lot of stuff that you find out after the season guys were dealing with. But we've talked about him, I think, almost every week when I come on with you and Prater every Friday at 4 o'clock about what Zeke Noah's been doing this year. And here he goes. Last game, 6 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and the first interception of his career. You got to go back 5 years, Johnny, to Kekala Kaniho in the Las Vegas Bowl against Oregon way back in 2017. The last time a Boise State defender had an interception, a sack, and a forced fumble in the same game. Zeke Noah was everywhere, but he's been everywhere all season, man. For him to come back for that COVID 6th year, play with his brother, and have the kind of year he's having, Zeke Noah's really stepped it up for them.
I think no question right now, Boise State linebacker Zeke Noah, Boise State linebacker DJ Schramm are in the conversation for Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. I'll be the first to hop on that train, if you will, and see where that goes. I think they're playing at not just an all-conference first-team caliber level, but at a Player of the Year caliber level. And let's see if Skinner gets things going too. Let's see if George Tarlas, his sack numbers increase. I think he's got 4 in 6 games, maybe 4.5. So he's right there too. Again, they got 4 first-team players there, and maybe we'll see what happens with the corners as well. But yeah, Zeke Noah, I mean, you're noticing it. I've already seen Zeke make more big plays of impact this season than I did all of last season. Last season, we would just kind of look at each other like, did Zeke play tonight? Like, I didn't see him until the third quarter. I didn't hear his name on the PA system. Like, what's going on with Zeke? And this year, yeah, no questions there. That guy is flying around, attacking the football, doing multiple things. That pick, cool that it was his first interception. Got a little juice on the run back, too. And the big sacks on third down. 1 in the previous 2 games, right? Those big splash sack plays where the entire stadium, which has been awesome, by the way, Bronco Nation, holy smokes. That's how you support a college football team. Sometimes you throw the fans a little bit of a bone. Maybe it's a new OC. Maybe it's a quarterback. Maybe it's the right time. I mean, that stadium was packed. And it was really loud, especially there in the says, man. And Zeke Noah's feeding off that. Again, he's having a conference player of the year type of season. And I don't know the last Boise State defender to win league player of the year. I don't know. Maybe it was LVE. Maybe they're going to have one this year, BJ. And it looks like it's a 2-horse or 2 Bronco race right now between Zeke Noah and DJ SRAM. Go figure, right?
Hey, your guy, Zach Bullock, says good morning from KC. Go Chiefs. I guess he's going to Monday Night Football tonight.
Heck yeah, man.
The Chiefs-Raiders game.
Bro, Zach. Yeah,
yep, that's your guy, man. By the way, Zeke Noah now on the season, Johnny, 5 tackles for loss, and it's for him in 5 games because he missed the 1 game, I believe, due to a concussion. They didn't actually say that, but that's what it appeared to be. But 5 games, 5 tackles for loss for Zeke Noah. That's pretty impressive. A tackle, a loss a game. You're talking a double-digit tackle for loss season.
On the best defense in the league. I mean, put it on paper. Crunch any number you want. Take a picture. Write it down. I don't give a rip, BJ. That's the best defense in the league so far this season.
And I shouldn't speculate. I apologize for that. We don't know we don't know why Zeke Noah was out of the game when he misses 1 game, and you kind of see, but we don't know, and so I apologize for speculating. That's bad journalism on my part. But Brandon Walton says, after the way these last 2 games have gone, does it change how you guys see this team finishing? Johnny, when you think about this team now, 4-2, 3-0 in the Mountain West, you think about the caliber of teams in the Mountain West and the caliber of teams remaining on their schedule. There's a lot of winnable games left, man. This may not be one of the better Boise State teams, but you're going to look up at the end of the year, and this team's going to be 9-3 or 10-2, I think.
I'd say 9-3 is fair. I mean, if you could put a
you'd have to be there for us, obviously, because you got the BYU game, which is going to be tough. But I mean, and
we don't know where BYU will be at that point, too. Yeah. I mean, the loss to Notre Dame was crucial. Their schedule's usually really difficult. And if they have a couple of tough games before or after Boise State, maybe BYU's going to have 1 foot in the Big 12 door by then on, what is that, November 12th, the BYU game?
I think it's the 5th.
Okay, November 5th, yeah, a week earlier. I mean, who knows where BYU's going to be? Injuries can happen. But right now, yeah, I think that's going to be a hell of a game. I mean, Notre Dame, this is not their best team. And they went down on a neutral site in Vegas and beat BYU. So I'm not saying anymore. I was 3 weeks ago saying, BYU, that game could get ugly. Now I'm thinking, dude, that's going to be, talk about a sellout. You sell that thing out for Fresno State on a Saturday. Let's talk BYU in early November, BJ.
The final meeting.
The final time maybe they ever play. And I will probably guarantee you it's the final time BYU's coming here. It's probably going to be, we'll play you on a one-off. Maybe we'll play you in Vegas, which would be awesome. Or maybe you just got to come down to Lavelle. But it probably won't be here at Albertson Stadium. That is going to be a crazy atmosphere. It's going to be insane, and that'll help Boise State. So 10-2, I can't believe I'm saying this. 10-2's in play when this team, when I saw them lose to UTEP and not even play well. 10-2, 9-3, 8-4. I think I'll tell you what, I think a division championship is massively in play. I tweeted something on Saturday night saying, at this point, how do you not win this division? That's going to be a disaster because Air Force with 2 losses, essentially they need Boise State to lose, 2 more league games and then win some tiebreakers elsewhere. I think Boise State, if they beat Air Force, man, this division is in a massive stranglehold, man.
Yeah. Well, that was the big thing about Air Force losing to Utah State the other night. Now Boise State could go lose to Air Force next Saturday.
Doesn't mean anything.
And then they still win the rest of their games. You know, they'll still be a game up on Air Force, even though Air Force would have the tiebreaker. So you now have the margin for error if you stub your toe at Air Force, which, let's be honest, has happened, fairly often against them. Then you could still win the rest of your games. And you look at the rest of the games on their schedule, Johnny. Nevada, lost to Incarnate Word. Colorado State's not very good this year. Wyoming, I know, beat Air Force, but you feel okay about that. And then Utah State at home to wrap up the season. Those are your 4 Mountain West games remaining other than Air Force. I think if you can get one or the other, Air Force or BYU, you're going 9-3. I think that's but if you get both, 10-2 is certainly in play here. Like I said, even if somehow you lose both, you go 8-4 and still win the division. If this team goes 8-4, Johnny, but then wins the Mountain West Championship 9-4, and then maybe even a bowl game 10-4 or 9-5.
Go to the Kimmel Bowl, play in that beautiful stadium.
Does that become? I hate to say it, and maybe big picture, some people would say no. But if you go from 2-2, one of the worst losses in program history, you fire your OC, your quarterback transfers, to finishing 8-4 regular season, but then you win a Mountain West Championship at 9-4. Is that a successful season?
Oh, and then throw in a bowl win. Now that we're just handing out these victories, BJ, let's throw in a bowl win. Let's say 10-4. I think this fan base is smart enough to realize, the roster, the situation that the coaches have had to gone through, everything else, to say, hell, if we're not celebrating a conference championship, fan base, that's on you, because there's nothing more that this program can do, I think, especially in a down year where you've had to make a lot of switches and drastic changes, unprecedented changes at this school. And if it's going to still win you the league and you're like, no, Kellen, dude, get off it, man.
Hey, you already got
championship.
And you already got it's Keaton here already looking at the group, the Boise State having a shot at the New Year's Six again.
Dude,
he says,
are we going there? If you're 10-2 and you win the conference championship and you're 11-2, there's only 5 teams that are in that conversation because you have to win your league, and you get something freaky happening in the American Championship.
Well, the year that the first when in 2014, Boise State's last appearance in the New Year's Six, they had 2 losses that year as well. He says
we're talking New Year's Six.
It's Keaton says, back to my yearly routine of rooting for the top group of 5s and teams 15-25 to lose. Need Cincy and Coastal to slip up. So,
here's the thing too. Do you take does the committee take? It would be 11-2 Boise
on a 8 or 9 game winning streak
over a 12-1 Coastal. Let's say the American is out of the equation because I don't think Boise State's going to win a battle with a 1-loss Cincinnati team. Let's be honest, guys. But a 1-loss Coastal Carolina coming out of the belt versus a Boise State team with, oh my God, look at the changes they've made. Dirk Cutter, oh my God, Taylor Green, this guy. Maybe that's a crazy picture to paint right now, Keaton. But oh, this town, man. I love it, dude.
I think we just gave you guys a segment for your show. Are they back in the New Year's Six picture? Jordan Morales says
shooting that down already. I promise you guys that.
Jordan says Andy going from Dennis Dodd's BSU, the watch list, the hot seat list, and now being coach of the year candidate is what Jordan says. Perry says, and Prater laughed at my comment that Broncos would be a top 20 team by the end of the year. Blue Elvis says 7-5 looked like a blessing 2 weeks ago. And I guess we kind of wrap this up, Johnny, and Gordy Presnell is going to join us here in a couple of minutes, but the women's basketball coach at Boise State. But it is crazy, Johnny. The fact that someone even brings up the, that kind of scenario, crazy as it might be. Nobody was even thinking about that 2 weeks ago, Johnny. So,
that's what happens when you handle the 2 opponents in your league that probably scare you the most outside of Air Force in your division. And that's what they're doing now. And a perfect time for a bye week. Are you kidding me? Just get better, get this Taylor Green throwing the ball more, get more back to like a training camp type of feel than a normal game week routine. A perfect time for a bye week, BJ. This fan base, and I love it. I love when the fan base gets fired up. And I didn't even think about that BYU crowd before. But now that we're talking about it, that's going to be a setting.
Well, they had the record 37,663, a record announced crowd, and it was pretty full there in the first half at least. So
now
you
that
got a
we're
record
talking,
crowd
BJ,
for Fresno, you're going to have a record crowd for BYU for sure.
You'll break that. The fan base, I'll call you out right now. Break that record. Break the Fresno record versus BYU. And, now that we're talking, we're throwing all this stuff out here. Hey, maybe College Game Day will come to Boise for the BYU game, BJ. Maybe we can get game day back.
The game was no, get out of here. The game's on Fox. They're not doing that. But
big noon kickoff.
Yeah.
Let's get them. Come on.
Hey man, you got the Mariners shirt on as we say goodbye to you and get ready to welcome on Gordy Presnell. Congrats, man. That's a big time accomplishment for the Mariners.
No, appreciate it, man. It's going to be fun tomorrow. Afternoon game should be over by about the time the show starts and all that good stuff. No media this week, BJ.
Yep.
I don't have to see you at press conferences and all that. So it's going to be a fun week. I'm going to enjoy the bye week. Idaho, Montana, in Missoula on Saturday. I'm going
to ask Gordy Presnell. I don't know if you knew this. He's thrown out the first pitch at a Mariners game twice.
What?
In his career. Yeah, when he was the Seattle Pacific head coach, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
And they might have done a Boise State alumni day or something. So I'm going to ask Gordy. He's a big Mariners fan. So
That's awesome,
I'll
BJ.
bring that up to him. But
I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yep, Wednesday, BNN After Dark. I think your guy Jarrell Root's going to join us. So we appreciate it, Johnny. We're going to have Gordy Presnell coming on in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Hey, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Check them out. Locations across the Treasure Valley. Full family dentistry. You can check them out. BoiseDentistryCo.com. Give them a call, 208-906-1255. And you're talking to your kids, your grandparents, anybody in your family that needs a dentist. You can check them out at BoiseDentistryCo.com. United Commercial Insurance as well. They make business insurance easy. They can write business insurance policies in 44 states around the country. Make sure to check them out, UnitedCommercialInsurance.com, 229-8222. And a quick call could save you hundreds of dollars on your workers' comp and your liability insurance needs. Make sure you check them out, United Commercial Insurance. Timberstone Golf Course was out there and played last week. The course is in great shape. Get out there to Caldwell, play golf while the weather's perfect here. PlayTimberstone.com. It's a perfect time to get out there and play some golf. So we appreciate Tad and Kelly and the whole group out there. So check them out, PlayTimberstone.com. And Matt Bauscher Real Estate, the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt Bauscher. He'd love to help you out. We'll be starting the Matt Bauscher Show here in a couple weeks. So make sure to check out Matt Bauscher and BauscherRealEstate.com. And as promised, we do get a chance to catch up with Gordy Presnell, the head coach of the women's basketball team over at Boise State. 18th year now, Gordy, at Boise State. Does it seem like it's been 18 years?
It's gone really fast. I've had a really great time here, enjoyed it. We got great support here, and we've been able to do some wonderful things, and when I come back, I'll hopefully do some more.
Well, we appreciate your time. I know you're busy in preseason training here, getting ready for the season with practice and stuff, but I know Bronco fans are excited to kind of get a look into the team this year and how things are looking. I know last year was a rare struggle for you. You haven't had too many losing seasons in your entire career. What just now that you're moved on to a new season, I know you're excited, but how tough was last year to deal with for you?
Yeah, it was tough. It really was, and we knew it was going to be a real rough year. My bosses knew it'd be a real rough year. We kind of decided to switch gears, thought maybe we were going in a little bit in the wrong direction. And so there were some changes, personnel. And so we brought some new kids in. And then unfortunately, the kids that we brought in to bridge the year got injured, but they're back this year. So the reality is we have about, 75% of our offense back, but we have six people. Two that would have really contributed last year are back. And then we've signed maybe the best class we've ever had, a freshman class, and they're going to contribute immediately.
Yeah, I mean, 5 of the last 8 years, you've been cutting down the nets and going to the NCAA tournament. I mean, it had to be a weird year for you, but how excited are you just to kind of turn the page? And you mentioned the 4 freshmen that I wanted to talk about, but you got a couple of key returners that were big for you as well. I mean, do you feel like this group has a chance to get you back to where you've been here previously?
I sure hope so. I've never been more excited about a group. Now, obviously, role acceptance and injury play a big part in team development and success at the end of the line. But on paper, we feel really good about where we're at. We've got an Elodie Lalade and Abby Muse, a really good post, almost double doubles, both of them, not quite, last year. And they still have 3 years of eligibility with the COVID year. Mary Kay Naro, our point guard, is back. And once again, also 3 years. Anna Osley's back. And then, Mandy Simpson played 4 years of basketball at Oklahoma, and we thought she'd be a great bridge between this gap we had last year. And she hurt her back and was out for the season. So she's back. And so we feel really great about her. So our post stuff's pretty good. And then the newcomers, Danny Bays out of Australia is maybe as good as anybody we've ever had. And once again, she has to stay healthy, and homesickness can't get her. And I'm sure Christmas time will be tough for her, but she's a really talented player, as good as we've had. And then Maya Hansen, our freshman from Montana, is a 2-time Montana State Player of the Year. She's going to play. Natalie Pasco is a California NorCal Player of the Year. And then Tatum Thompson is just extremely talented, and she's the Miss Washington basketball MVP of the state tournament, MVP of the state All-Star game. So wow. We've got a great group coming back, and really looking forward to see what we can do.
Well, I know Elodie's got a cool story. My intern last year wrote about her, journey to get to this point. And you mentioned Abby. I mean, to have two front court players that are essentially getting close to double doubles on a nightly basis. You mentioned Abby averaged over 10 points, 7 rebounds last year. Same with Elodie, 9.7 points, 7.4 rebounds. I mean, when you got not one but two players in the front court like that, how impressive have they been, and how much better can they get this year?
Elodie is in the shape of her life. She put a lot of time in and has done well. And Abby is just real long and athletic. And then, Mandy Simpson from Oklahoma, her junior year, I think she was 8th in the Big 12 in rebounding.
That's true, yeah.
So we got a good nucleus there. I'm excited that, the big problem we had last year was finishing games and then shooting from the perimeter, which has always been kind of our forte. And so I think we've filled those gaps a little bit, and now we just got to go out and perform. We've been going since July. 2 weeks ago, we started going up 20 hours a week. And so we're ready to try to play somebody else here pretty soon.
And I know you're excited about the freshman class, but I mean, some of those previous teams you just had such good, veteran leadership and talented juniors and seniors. How excited are you to now when you mentioned Mandy? And I know she didn't play last year, but being having plenty of college experience under her belt, some of the other returners. I know you're going to count on the freshmen, but how important is it to have some returners and veterans that have done this and been through the war? Even if some of them are only sophomores or juniors, that's still better than going in as a freshman.
You're right. And team development is critical. We're reading the energy bus right now as a team. Mandy's been through the wars in the Big 12. I mean, she had some great games, 22 and 18, I think, against LSU. And so she's doing a good job being a leader. But Elodie Lalade has really stepped up. Abby's stepped up. And so I think our leadership will be good. It's got to develop, like you say, and it's going to take some time. I mean, Mandy's going to graduate this year, but everyone else still has about 3 years of eligibility. So we're in a good situation. We chose not to do the whole portal thing because we're counting on these freshmen. We're trying to build from within, and then maybe add some portal pieces in the spring.
How rare is that in this day and age? You didn't add a single transfer, and now, with the whole portal thing, I mean, that must really say a lot about how you feel about these freshmen. I
do, and we're investing, and our administration's invested. They know exactly what we're doing. And I think you could correct me wrong, but I think we're the only school in the whole nation that didn't lose anyone to the portal or gain anyone for the portal. So, it's one of those things. Now that portal window's gotten smaller, and so, we're going to have to do our business and see what happens in the spring.
What's when your 36th year as a head coach, and I joked before we started about, I'm sure your first year you were doing a technological setup like this on a laptop for a live interview, but you think about NIL and transfer portal and all the changes from when you got into coaching. It's probably not nearly the same kind of job as it is when you first started.
It isn't. There's a lot of fires off the floor that you have that you didn't have back then, for sure. The other side of that, though, is the talent level has increased so much. The ability to just have skill work, passing, dribbling, the athleticism, all that has changed. And that's gone across the board. All sports are probably the same way. But, it's that part has been the fun part. the fires aren't always fun. That's for sure.
You mentioned Danny Bays from Australia, and from my understanding is just an unbelievable 3-point shooter. Is that something that you were lacking last year, or do you think that her 3-point shooting is something that's going to help you guys?
Absolutely. Danny is a terrific player. I believe she was the only teenager invited to the New Zealand national team tryouts.
Wow.
She played at NBL 1, and so she's coming in here, and all our other freshmen are playing with 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and she's been playing with 27, 28-year-olds, and her post player on her team was drafted by the Storm and played center for Stanford. So
wow.
She's has a little different level of experience than everyone else for a freshman.
What about the schedule this year? I know you guys got a couple big home games. You got BYU, Colorado coming in. You're going to a couple, I don't know if they're called tournaments, but at least a couple things where you play a couple games. What do you make of the schedule this year, and how did you kind of want to build it coming off a rough year last year where you're trying to get some winnable games and have some confidence? But, I mean, obviously you're playing some tough games as well. How'd you want to build the schedule this year?
That's a great question, and we put a lot of strategy into it, I'll tell you. We play one road game, and we go to UC Davis, who's a perennial Big West, competes for their championships there. And then the other 4 road games are all neutral games. A lot of the big schools do that. And so then we play neutral games. And then we have a little stretch in December. Hopefully we've gained our confidence that we play, I believe we play BYU and Colorado and St. Mary's, all real good programs. BYU and Colorado are both NCAA tournament top 25 teams last year. So we've tried to build this thing that we can rise up and maybe get ready to play when the Mountain West Conference comes along. And there was a lot of strategy put into that, and hopefully it'll pay off for us. The conference is the top half is the best it's been in years and years and years. The bottom half is still going to be pretty rough. So hopefully we'll be in that top half battling for a championship. We'll see.
What motivates you at this point, Gordy? I mentioned all the years in coaching, and I'm sure for you, like I said, a year like last year is not one you've had to deal with very often. Does that light a fire in you in the offseason going into this year? I mean, what makes you put that coffee pot on at 5 a.m. when you get up every morning and push to want to get back on track here?
That's a great question too, and I felt like we weren't going in the right direction, and so we lost about 7 kids. And Chris Peterson used to be a friend of mine when he was here, and he had these things called OKGs, our kind of guys, for recruits. And we weren't doing well academically, and we weren't doing well culturally, and so we made the transition into all these kids coming in and sticking with it and counting on them, and so they fire me up. This is all our kids that we feel really good about, and that our version of OKGs. And we've already made the adjustment academically. We're 7th in the country last year in academics, a 3.74, which is pretty high for any sport.
Yeah.
And number 7. And so now we got to get it done on the court. And we put all our eggs in this basket, and this is the way we want to do it, build it. And we got great support from our administrators all the way to Dr. Trump, and everyone knows what we're trying to do, and we're going to get it done.
What would be your pitch, I guess, as we kind of start to wrap this up? What would be your pitch to fans watching? If you were trying to hawk season tickets on the street corner or whatever, I mean, why should you sound really excited about this team? That's probably enough, but why should fans come on out and see you guys this year?
I think they'll make you feel good. I think you're going to see an amazing amount of enthusiasm. It's the most vocal, talking, enthusiastic group I've ever had. They're a bunch of freshmen that don't care. They're just going to play their tails off. And I think we're going to compete. And I think we got good post presence. We got seasoned point guard play, and then we've added perimeter shooting. So hopefully we'll be worth watching. That's for sure.
I know you're a big sports fan, Gordy. What do you? I know you're in the gym most of the day, but are you watching playoff baseball these days? Are you a college football, NFL? I know you're a big sports fan. What piques your interest this time of year?
Seattle Mariners are going to the World Series.
You heard it here. You get a chance to watch those games.
Series.
Is that pretty cool to watch those 2 games over the weekend?
Oh my goodness! I've had the fortune to throw out the first pitch twice at Mariner games, and we've followed them all along. And we're just so excited. My whole family sat through that game when it was 8-1.
You didn't turn it off.
We could have gone to a college football game because our family loves college football. We stuck through it, and it was one of the greatest games in the history of baseball, in my opinion. Obviously, we were on the winning side of that, so we think that.
Well, I think when they make game 1 of the World Series, they're going to ask you to come throw out the first pitch again, probably here in a couple of weeks. But, yeah, that's really cool. So, yeah, congrats to your Mariners, and hopefully they can keep it rolling. My Cardinals are out, so I've kind of adopted Seattle as my team, at least for the playoffs, for folks like you and a lot of friend of mine, Jay Tust, a big Mariners fan. So appreciate your time, Gordy. When's the first exhibition game? When can fans first see you guys out on the – oh, you don't have it. That's all right.
November 4th.
Okay,
November. Idaho. Yeah.
So it's only a couple weeks away. Fans can see you guys here
ready
pretty soon, and obviously all the information on the schedule and tickets and everything at broncosports.com. But really appreciate your time as always, Gordy. Best of luck. Stay healthy here, getting ready for the season, and looking forward to seeing you guys at Extra Mile Arena here real soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on your show.
No problem. Hey, check out Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com for all of your needs when it comes to banking. The official bank of Bronco Nation News is Idaho Central Credit Union, so make sure you check out ICCU.com. Over 500,000 people have made the switch to Idaho Central Credit Union, and you can too at ICCU.com. And we got some cool stuff, cool announcement with the Boise State esports team and ICCU that we're going to be making here in the near future. So really excited to raise some money for charity and maybe get some subscribers involved in a cool little thing with Boise State esports. So stay in tune for that with Idaho Central Credit Union. Lithia Ford of Boise, I've told you about them for a while now, the sponsor of our pre and post game shows. I bought a vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise and could not be happier with my F-150. Tough Town's going on right now, so check them out. You can shop online at lithiafordboise.com. That's what I did. I found the model I liked and then went and saw it in person on the showroom there on Fairview and purchased it, and it was an easy process. So check out Lithia Ford of Boise and support them for supporting us, and we would really appreciate that. And of course, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com as well, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. They've done our garage, they've done our back patio. You've heard me talking about them, but they just do tremendous work, and we really appreciate their support at Bronco Nation News. So they got a 10% offer going on right now. If you're looking to save some money on interior painting in your home, you get 10% off to have them come out this winter and paint your house. So to get more information, roepaint.com, and make sure you tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. So that's the name of the game, supporting the sponsors. And if you support the sponsors, then they'll keep supporting us, and we can keep offering these free daily shows here at bronconationnews.com and all of our social media channels. And of course, Cutwater Canned Cocktails, our studio sponsor. The studio's on the road in St. Louis this week as I'm visiting some family, but make sure you check out one of the 30 flavors of Cutwater Canned Cocktails. And next time you're watching Monday Night Football tonight or whatever else piques your interest here moving forward. But really appreciate Gordy Presnell for coming on. Hopefully everybody enjoyed hearing from Gordy. And again, we got a full week coming up of all of the shows and things like that with the different sports coaches and things. So we're going to go with soccer tomorrow. Jim Thomas, the soccer team's on a pretty historic run of not giving up goals. Looking forward to talking to Coach Thomas. We got Kaylin Downs, the women's golf team, on Wednesday. They're competing this week in a tournament. They've had a pretty good fall as well. Thursday, we'll check in with Boise State volleyball. Sean Garris, they're having off to a really nice start in Mountain West play. And then on Friday, so that's 4 days in a row of women's sports. And then on Friday, we'll wrap up the week with Leon Rice and talk men's basketball and check in on the Broncos as they get set. They're going to be scrimmage in Oregon in a private scrimmage next weekend. So that's going to be exciting to hear, off the record, I guess, down the line how that went. But big week ahead for the Broncos as they get ready to scrimmage Oregon here in the near future. 2 weeks, I guess. I guess that's the day of the Air Force game. They're going to be scrimmaging Oregon as they get ready for their season. James says Jay Tust and him must be great buds. Gordy Presnell is a great guy, so appreciate him coming on the show and appreciate his insight on the Broncos and looking forward to following that women's team the rest of the year to see how things go. So appreciate everybody for checking us out. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you. And by the way, cool announcement. Maybe I can get the graphic in here in a second. But Wednesday will be BNN After Dark. On Wednesday, we're going to be joined by Wednesday is Jarrell Root. Jarrell Root Wednesday night on BNN After Dark. So make sure you check out Wednesday's BNN After Dark. There's a new button on the website you can click. If you're a subscriber, you just go up there to the live videos tab, and then you can click the BNN After Dark below that, and it'll send you right to the page. And we did it, by the way. Truly appreciate it, Bronco Nation. You helped us reach 600 paid subscribers. That number may not sound good, but we're 10 months into this thing. My goal for year one was 250. My goal for year two was 500. And for year 3 was $750, and we have surged past 600 paying subscribers. We're up to 603, and you are helping make this possible. These daily shows, all of the things we're doing are not possible. I can't pay John Mallory or Jay Tust or Mike Prater or Winston Venable and these guys without your financial support. So I truly, truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. It means a ton that you took a chance on me 10 months ago when I started this thing. Wasn't sure how it would go, if it would work, if anybody would like it or care or want to subscribe. And I thought maybe, what am I doing giving up a full-time job at the Idaho Press where I was at for 9 years. But we've now reached 600 paying subscribers in barely 10 months. We're surging forward, and we're going to continue to give you the best Boise State coverage that we can moving forward here. If you're not a subscriber, would love to have you on board, and we can give you some giveaways and things like that. But hopefully folks that are subscribers feel like it's worth it to them. And, the retention rate has been very high. We've had very few that have canceled their subscription. So we, I think we're doing a good job and we're enjoying it. And I hope everybody else is enjoying the content that we're providing as well. And so, it's not possible without our subscribers and without our advertisers. And so we truly appreciate all of you guys for taking a chance on us and helping me make this happen. And I still have much bigger goals moving forward. So we're just getting going. So we're doing the 30-minute morning shows. We're looking to maybe expand those, maybe some more evening shows. I would love to make a Bronco Nation News kind of podcast network where we have different people hosting different shows where I don't even have to be on them. So we got a lot of different things we're working on, but it all costs money. And even to have this broadcast, we got to pay a monthly subscription fee to the company to do these broadcasts. So there's a lot of little costs that you don't even think about. And the 603 of you that have decided to give us your financial commitment to help make it happen, I truly, truly appreciate it. And hope others will continue to jump on board as well and feel the value, and we can continue to build this thing into an even bigger and better product than we already have. So again, appreciate all of you for doing that. And it was pretty cool when I refreshed the page over the weekend and saw we had surpassed 600. So pretty cool. But thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to all of you. We'll have Jay Tust tomorrow, and as well as Jim Thomas, the BSU soccer coach. So a lot going on. Not a lot going on this week football-wise. No interviews or anything like that. So I don't know what football news will be coming out. Hopefully not much. I know some of the reporters and folks are going to try to take a few days off. I'm here visiting family as well, but still working from here. So, I'm enjoying some time with family, but we're still doing the shows. And if any other news breaks, we'll have it covered. But I think hopefully it's going to be kind of a quiet week on the Boise State news front. But as I say that, I realize I probably just jinxed myself, but we'll see moving forward. Derek says, well worth the cost. Nick Wade says, well worth it. Guy says 100%, 1,000% worth it. So appreciate all you guys, not only for subscribing, but for commenting every day. And Guy and Derek and Nick and all you guys and Jordan, James, all you guys, Perry, the whole crew with Kurt Blake, all you guys are helping keep the conversation going with the comments and things like that. So appreciate you. And believe it or not, we do make a little money off the YouTube channel. It's not a ton, but we do make a little. So make sure you please subscribe on YouTube. And the more views and subscribers and things on YouTube, we get a couple extra $100 a month. That helps us add another guy or something. So it all adds up, and we appreciate you guys a lot. And like I said, tomorrow we'll have Jay Tust. We'll have Jim Thomas, the BSU soccer coach. If any news does break or anything happens throughout the day, we'll be back either on a live show or I'll get some stories up on the site, but going to be a little quieter week with the bye week. But appreciate you all for checking it out. 9 a.m. tomorrow, we'll have Jay Tust and Jim Thomas as we continue our look at some of the other sports here at Boise State. But Broncos 4-2, 2 wins in a row, getting on a little bit of a roll. They'll have the bye week this week, and we'll dive into full Air Force coverage next week as well. So have a great day. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.